Gisborne, New Zealand, the gateway to the East Cape of the North Island and the first city to see the sun each day. Beautiful beaches and stunning scenery. This was the place that Captain Cook made landfall and first met Māori nearly 247 years ago. But we're here for the rally roads.
It's a fantastic bit of country and the roads are very special compared to anywhere else.
You know, they're county roads, they're generally a good hard base road and beautifully nice and flowing, but yeah, they're wonderful roads, so I really enjoy them.
With 2 rounds remaining, the race is on for the New Zealand title.
And no excuses, we're here to do the best we can.
And really enjoy the shorter rallies, and with this one just being 6 stages, it's kind of more of a sprint. We'll just be putting our best effort on every stage.
The Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship, powered by Gold Liquid Energy, B&T and Dunlop. This is Rally Gisborne. In round 3 in Canterbury, David Holder threw away a healthy championship lead.
It wasn't our favourite rally. But yeah, I just made a small mistake coming down a hill and braked a bit late and stuck it wide in the Christmas trees, so not ideal.
Andrew Hawkswood and Emma Gilmore battled all day, but it was Gilmore who kept a cool head and went on to win Rally Canterbury, creating history as the first woman to win a New Zealand Championship rally.
I think the championship is still very open. As we've all dropped 1 round, the pressure is on to finish. So first we've got to finish, and then the second thing is to finish first.
So whoever wins at Gisborne will have the upper hand going into the final round in August.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to just go out and attack from the start. You know, we know that the points are in the power stage. That's the plan. We're not taking any prisoners.
But for Marcus van Klink, just starting this event would be enough to give him an unassailable lead in the historic class.
It's a bit of a shame that the rest of the competitors haven't turned up, but hey, it's one of those things. We're here to support the championship and done a good job so far.
So the points going into Gisborne sees Holder just 6 ahead of Gilmore. And with Hayden Pedden running hot in Rally Poland, Marcus van Klink is still in contention, along with Andrew Hawkswood. It's early on Saturday morning as the cars leave downtown Gisborne for the stages. Let's see what's in store with our B&T stage preview. 4 roads will make up the 6 stages, all on county roads. Stage 4, Wharikopai, starts on Rakaroa Road, and at 39 kilometres will be the biggest challenge of the day. Stage 1, Parikanapa, is the power stage today. 5 points going to the driver who contain this 25 kilometres and give themselves an early advantage. Joining me is rally expert Patrick Malley, and looks like the conditions rather icy today.
Yeah, -3 degrees this morning, so conditions will be icy out there. And David had the choice of running 1st or 5th on the road. He's chosen 1st, so now we can look to see whether he'll be the icebreaker or he will be the one broken.
Emma Gilmore has chosen position 2 on the road, looking to follow on from her victory at Canterbury.
And she'll also be looking ahead at David, because all she needs to do now is peg her times to him and make sure she beats him on every stage. But here she needs to come out swinging, especially in the power stage, first on the day.
30. 5 right, into, hub 4 left.
Yeah, I like the idea that the first stage up is the power stage. I think it's difficult when it becomes later in the event, because obviously people have DNFs and all those sorts of things. So I think it's really fair that it's first stage up. I enjoy that stage. I remember when we did it in 2012, and we won the stage back then. So yeah, looking forward to having a good first stage.
And Emma's struggling here with grip and turn into the corners, but you can see the ice build up on the inside of the stages. It'll be interesting to see what her time is at the end.
Marcus van Klink earned the right to start in the top 5 after his performance at Canterbury. He's made the bold decision, though, to be 3rd on the road.
And this will be an interesting experience for Marcus, because he's used to running on sweat roads.
Well, personally, I actually prefer to drive on the tight, twisty roads. They are better known to be on fast sweeping roads, but for some reason, Dave and I seem to work really well on the tight, twisty stuff, so it always catches people by surprise how fast we actually go. So, to be fair, any road's a good road.
And it's really exciting to see an RX-7 third on the road at an NZRC event, chucking it around and spreading the gravel and
Oh, and he's overcooked it though. And that's going to be tricky to get out of there. Graham Featherston, one of 3 drivers sharing 6th place in the points, but in striking distance of the leaders. And our final top 5 starter, Andrew Hawkswood. Looking for a win here, but ooh, not a good start. That cost him 6 seconds.
But this is a very tricky stage, especially with ice early in the morning. And 6 seconds isn't much to lose. However, it is the power stage, so he's gonna have to push.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to just go out and attack from the start. You know, we know that the points are in the power stage. That's the plan. We're not taking any prisoners. It's just flat out, and whatever happens, happens.
Crest, 6 left, a tighten for 5, minus, it opens.
Ben Hunt has had a challenging season so far. Started okay at Otago, but a crash and then mechanical failure at Canterbury has him out of contention, but still hungry for a win.
Yeah, hungry for a win, but also for some competitive stage miles, because this is a new car and he still has to continue to develop it.
30, long 4 right, don't go wide. 7 left, 60, keep in long 5 left.
The stage 1 power stage will be quite interesting because it is quite slippery in places, and probably people have a bit of a gamble whether they run softs or mediums or cut some tyres, and we've got our theory on what we're going to do, and we normally stick to that every rally, so we'll go out there and do the same thing and get some seat time and have some fun.
Counting down to the stage end now, and David Holder will be the first to cross the line. $18 minutes 40.4.
Braking into.
Next through, it's Emma Gilmore.
And she's looking less direct and aggressive than Dave was through here, so she may be struggling with this stage.
Now remember, there's 5 GC points up for grabs with the power stage heading down to the line, and she's slower, 36 seconds slower than Holder, and not happy. Graham Featherston next, looking fast here. Second fastest so far, 10.7 down on Holder. So can Andrew Hawkswood make up that 6 seconds he lost back at the start with that stall?
And it looks like he's trying hard and using on the road.
4 right minus. And 4 left over crest. 50.
Whoa, that's extremely bad sunstrike. Andrew's running 2 minutes behind Emma with Marcus out, and obviously that difference alone is enough to make a difference.
Ooh, he's lucky there.
5 left minus. Short. Pedal's gone straight to the floor. 6 right, 100. Short 6 right, 100. 7 left.
Man, brake problems as well. That's going to add to his frustration.
150.
So let's see how that time affects his stage time.
5 left to finish, 150.
18 minutes 48.9, second fastest now. Ben Hunt next through, and these roads will certainly suit the Subaru, Patrick.
Yeah, they'll definitely suit the Subaru, but they'll also suit Ben's smooth and fast driving style on these county roads.
Fantastic rolling country, and these roads may be in Rally New Zealand. There will be a 2-day Rally New Zealand in 2017, and there is hope that in 2018 this will be around at the WRC Rally New Zealand.
5 left.
Well, looks like that sunstrike is getting worse, but hopefully Ben's okay.
23 seconds slower than Holder, though. Dylan Turner returning to the championship after finishing on the podium at Rally Whangarei, pushing hard. And 19 minutes exactly, so he pushes Ben down to 5th. That means no power stage points for Emma Gilmore. So confirming Holder takes the 5 bonus points in the power stage, and that's a good start for the Tauranga driver. In the other class battles, Lee Robson was the fastest in the Gold Class 5 to take 5 points. Dave Strong was fastest of the open 2-wheel drive cars ahead of Anthony Jones and Dylan Thompson. And with Marcus Van Klink losing 53 minutes stuck in that fence, John Silcock took the 5-point bonus for the historic class in his RX-7. Emma Gilmore arrived in Gisborne, where she'd been doing a different sort of rally in Italy.
The event we did in Italy was called the Italian Baja, so it's a Baja rally, which is the shorter ones of the cross-country rallies, which is what we learnt about when I was in Qatar last year. It was a different kind of challenge, and then in Italy in the weekend it was probably more like a rally stage to what I'm used to, but there were still very rough sections and also lots and lots of river crossings. It was a lot of fun. It's enjoyable actually going back and trying a different or another kind of motorsport. I love driving, so it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It was the same when I got to have a go at rallycross or doing this. It's enjoyable and you are applying that skill set that you have from driving a car fast, but in a different way. So it's interesting because for me, I'm used to my rally car where I'm always trying to look after it. You come to roads like we're rallying over in Italy and think, oh my God, I'm going to break the car, but that's what these cars are built for. So you can go that much faster. I did get caught out in Italy where I came into a corner a bit hot and it was in dust, and I was like, oh shit, there's the corner, and sort of tipped the car in, and it ended up being literally because obviously with the higher centre of gravity it could get into a pretty decent tank slapper, and that was what happened, and I just picked up on the inside of a corner and we ended up sideways to the road, and I thought, no, it's going to be fine, and no, it just tipped over. So it wasn't a big accident, but it was just the whole characteristics of the car were different to what I was used to. I think I basically got every single panel I could get aside from the right front fender, but the windscreen was damaged, so we didn't have a windscreen for the afternoon. So me and Sandra, my co-driver, wore motocross goggles with our helmets, and it was a huge amount of fun. I am an ambassador for being a woman in motorsport, and as you say, I've always just been here as a competitor. And I think that's the great thing, is that I am treated just as a competitor. But women, I mean, you do stand out because you'd only, there's not many of us out here doing it. So and I think especially young girls and other women, they notice it and they go, well, here's a woman doing sport and doing well in it. So I think it shows that it can be done.
Good skills, Emma Gilmore, Stage 2 Ruakaka, 19 kilometres. And with New Zealand's other rally ambassador, Hayden Paddon, heading to another WRC podium finish in Rally Poland, the question was, could his protege, David Holder, take his big step up the rally ladder and win the New Zealand title in Paddon's old car?
And the one way he'll guarantee that he can do that is by winning this rally here. And he's done well by winning the first power stage. Let's see how he does now.
David's time in these foggy conditions, 13 minutes 49.9. So Emma Gilmore now not happy with her car on stage 1, so she'd made what changes she could to the setup before the stage.
And she changed the setup since Canterbury, so obviously that's not working for her. What she's going to do between the stages is adjust the shock absorbers, change the settings slightly, and hopefully get back to that rally winning pace.
To left into 2 right. Stop.
And her stage time is 14 minutes 11, still 21 down on Holder. Graham Featherston, 44 seconds slower than Holder through his second stage, and that was going to cost him 3rd position.
Short, 6 right.
Suddenly Andrew Hawkswood was in the best position to challenge for the rally lead.
It broke the gearbox. Joking. Okay.
So one disappointment after another for Hawkswood. With him sidelined, Ben Hunt has another opportunity to also challenge for the lead.
And Ben has a stage under his belt, so now he'll be looking to build on that speed and build that confidence. But from the looks of the stage, that's going to be tricky here.
So Hunt's time, 14 minutes 16.4, and that will move him past Featherston. Dylan Turner, second fastest on the stage, moving to second overall, but still a second a kilometre slower than David Holder out in front.
And that's an impressive time for Dylan, considering that he's probably still a little bit rusty and will improve as the day goes on.
Glenn Inkster had been seventh fastest on stage one. But on stage two, a small error would see him retire from the rally.
Half 4 plus right, 4 left, flat right.
Oh, he's just straightened there a little bit, and
Whoa.
oh, bugger.
There we go. Jesus. Oh, had one for.
The definition of frustration. Sloane Cox was sixth fastest on stage one, but lucky to get through stage two with a front hub failure, causing some brake issues.
30. Okay, no, you're right then. 2 left, up.
That's all hard work though.
Yep, no, that's all right. 2 left, up. 2 left, 2.
Got it, thank you.
100. 2 right. Now all good, I just felt taily, so that's right. So 2 right, 40. Right, bro, let's get in the zone.
Lance Williams moving past Cox on the stage and into sixth, just 9.8 seconds behind Gilmore.
And Lance is running some new tyres for this event, and he's playing around with softs versus mediums and the different qualities of them, and he's already starting to look comfortable, which will bode well for him at the end of this event.
6 left minus, keep down, into 4 plus opens.
On board with Carl Davies now in the Subaru. He finished third at Canterbury and showing steady improvement in his rookie year in the championship.
And Carl's confidence is definitely growing in this car, which remember has a great pedigree, being Ben's old championship winning car from last year.
Phil Campbell has had a disappointing season so far with 2 DNF results, but moved to 10th overall on the stage.
And you have to remember that Phil replaced an engine after it got destroyed from the Fords at Christchurch. But, having said that, this is a package that can win rallies, both driver and car.
Shannon Chambers, another driver looking for a top finish after 2 DNFs. The V-Dub Proto car was just outside the top 10. And Brian Green returning in the Mirage Proto.
And the Mirage has had some development to it since Christchurch, but with a different driver. So Brian will take some time to adapt to those setup changes and really get some speed under his belt.
6 left.
The Gold Rally Challenge for Class 5 cars saw Grant Blackberry leading as he moved past Lee Robson and into the top 10. John O'Shapley having his best morning ever, second in the class. Lee Robson stuck in third gear and headed for retirement, but still managing third in class. And Kingsley Jones losing time at the stage start when a starter motor failed. Luckily he's an auto electrician and managed to get going again to hold fourth in the challenge. Results after 2 stages and a good morning for Holder, 40 seconds ahead of Turner. Emma Gilmore with work to do if she wants to keep in touch with that title race.
So you must be thinking championships on the mind, but you're putting the pedal down anyway. What's the thoughts for the next one?
Oh, look, you can get all tied up in the headspace of that stuff, so I think we're just going to drive it, forget about everything, drive the thing, and if we get a ridiculous lead, then hey, we'll worry about pulling back a wee bit, but otherwise we'll just carry on as per normal.
Emma, obviously championship on the mind, but 2 stages down and not where you want it to be.
No, a bit of a disappointing start to the morning. We made changes to the car after Christchurch, thinking we were going to head in the right direction, but sort of didn't make the car easy to drive. It made it quite nervous and quite twitchy. So we're basically going back to the Christchurch setup now. We made a little bit of a change that I could do out on the trot, out between stages, and it made it a little bit better. But yeah, we'll put back into Christchurch setup and have another go now.
And obviously the first stage being the power stage, you didn't get the points you wanted, so now the focus must be on just trying to claw back some sort of margin on Dave?
Oh, I think it's still a long day to go, so it's still more important to get those overall leg finishes, and still anything can happen as we've seen already in the first couple of stages. So, once I get the confidence back in the car, I think we'll have a good run this afternoon.
Feathers sitting fourth, but it's not from lack of trying.
No, we had a good stage on the first one. There was actually a lot more traction than I thought, so I just pushed on and everything was fine. We got into the second stage and it was a lot more slippery, and just went a little bit hot into a 4 right, got into the loose stuff on the side, nearly got away with it, but as you do, you hit something like a bank and amongst all the shrub, and spun around on a 180 into another bank, and then just had to turn around and all that sort of stuff. Got going and it was fine. The car's still handling pretty good, so a bit of scraping going on, but it's cool. All
right, Dill, obviously a good first 2 stages. How did it feel out there?
Yeah, the car feels really, really good. So, I mean, it's a little bit slippery. It's starting to cut up a little bit, but we're surprised that we've got some speed. New engine, Rally Art built us the engine choice, and it feels really good. Power feels good. Gary and E&H Automotive's tuned it, and car's feeling really, really nice, really easy to drive. We did have an overshoot on stage 2 though, so I'm quite surprised that our time was okay. So we probably lost a good 10-15 seconds. So but no, happy. Hopefully it goes good for the next lot.
And obviously you got a bit of a gap to Dave in front of you, but you must be trying to put some pressure on him, considering he'll be thinking of championship points.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm not in the championship really. We're probably too far back, so we're just here to have a bit of fun and go fast as we can. I think Dave, if he's smart, he might back off a little bit, but we'll try and keep him honest for a win. But there's still a lot of fast guys behind us this morning that maybe have slept in a little bit.
Ben, obviously the focus must be on day honours now.
Yeah, the goal was to get to the service park for the boys. They haven't done a great deal this year, so they're stoked. They got to get their hands dirty, and Tony and I are having fun. It's pretty challenging out there. Noisy rotary just going past, but we're just going to go out there and have some fun, see what's changed in stage 1.
And obviously you're struggling a little bit for speed, but getting faster. Is the focus now on development for this year and maybe a focus on next year's championship?
Yeah, definitely. We need to go out there and win some stages and just get used to the car. We haven't done a lot of Ks this year, so that's our main goal, just get to the end and just sort out any little teething problems.
Are you surprised about the speed of David Holder so far?
No, I think, they've done a lot of kilometres this year, and they're obviously going to be pushing. They've got a championship to win, so we'll lay a few times down later on, and the sun's shining and the road should get better.
And obviously you're still in the hunt for the podium positions. What's the plan after this?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just go and do stage 1 again, and get through that. It was quite trying, and then we'll evaluate it from there.
Last episode, we discussed some of the suspension changes that we were making to the AP4 class. What I want to do now is show you in a production car some of the suspension componentry that we do to make a really good set of suspension even better. We're here now with Ben Hunt's Hydrolink Subaru, and if you come in closer, I'll show you some of the changes. The first and most obvious thing that we have here is the real big Ryger suspension. Now this has been beefed up so that we can cope with all the rally conditions that we throw in at this car, and it's just a huge benefit over what the production suspension would be. Next to it, we've got the remote canister that holds all of the oils and fluids and everything else, and is used to try and keep the shock absorber cool under rally conditions. If we look at the back, you can see there's a lot of standard components, but importantly, all of the rubber componentry has been replaced with things like spherical bearings for added surety and reliability. And obviously, finishing it off, big AP racing brakes at the front, and lots of ducting and cooling and tape to hold everything together. Let's have a look on the rear of the car. You can see here where the top mount has been modified. It would normally be sitting on the rear on the floor of the car, but instead it's been raised by up to 3 inches up to here on the top to allow for extra length in the rear suspension. Additionally, you can see where the roll cage has been welded onto the top link to add extra strength and stability in the car. You can see a lot of the arms, which would have been standard arms, have been changed to STI R4 specification arms, and here once again Ryger suspension, which are slightly smaller in the rear but have a much greater travel for the suspension. So there you have it, all of the R4 suspension changes to a production based rally car, and everything that Ben needs to go out and win some stages. Now when I think of Gisborne, I think of famous stages like the Motu, but for most other people
It's the city's famous surf beaches, like the one just over my shoulder, that they think of most. Now there are 5 surf breaks of national significance within 10 kilometres of where I stand. Because of that, it's no wonder that surfing has such a natural part of the rich history here in Gisborne.
Out of the Tairāwhiti Museum, you can see New Zealand's biggest collection of surfboards dating back to the 1950s.
Hi, I'm Larry Foster from Gisborne, New Zealand. I'm a proud surfer and also a city councillor in local politics here in Gisborne. Some of the pioneers of surfing came from this region. So it's got a huge history, and in the surfboard manufacturing, some of the best surfers in New Zealand have come from, or most of them have come from Gisborne actually, right from Alan Burns in the old days, through to Maz Quinn, and right through now to Richard Christie, who's been touring the world tour. So we've got an amazing history of surfing here.
And when you compare those sports, the surfer is out on the wave just as the rally driver is out on the gravel roads. Certainly both sports have played a big part in Gisborne's rich sporting history. Stage 3, a repeat of Stage 1 now. David Holder on the way to a title perhaps.
And the roads have really lost a lot of their ice, so the drivers will have a lot more confidence than what they had this morning. But in Gisborne, the roads hold together really well, so speeds should be similar.
In fact, Holder just 2 seconds slower here, but still won the stage. Unfortunately, Emma Gilmore's rally and championship hopes ground to a halt here with a major engine issue.
Closing into 3 right long. Yeah, smoke coming out the back. Turbo or? Yeah, yep. 35 right. Yeah.
It is never a good sign when there is smoke coming from the bonnet like that.
It's, there's always worse things that can happen, and that's motorsport, and I think that's the thing with motorsport. You have to take the good with the bad and bad with the good, and it makes you appreciate it when it's going well, but it's disappointing. But in saying that, I suppose having our DNF at Otago, we didn't ever think we were going to have a shot at the championship, so yeah.
Sloane Cox had lost 18 minutes in service while the team replaced his brakes. Now he's set off to try and get back that time.
And Malcolm, Sloane's co-driver, will be telling him right now just to get back in the zone and put down those stage times, because realistically with rallying, you never know.
10, short 4 left in, into 4 right, big cut. And 5 right, cut gravel.
Dylan Turner was slow here, while he still held second place. Featherston and Williams had close to under 10 seconds. Conditions a lot warmer now, roads a lot drier, so the drivers pushing hard in the cars. Sir Lance Williams now in 4th and just 3 seconds behind Featherston.
And making up time, which means that he's really starting to gel with the new tyres he's put on this car and feeling confident.
15 to 4 right, 80, 5 left, 5 left minus.
And confidence breeds speed and breeds aggression, which is exactly what Lance is showing here right now.
But Ben Hunt did not start the stage after a fuel pump failure, so that lifted Grant Blackberry into 5th. Phil Campbell also improving, matching Williams' stage time, moving into 6th, 0.8 behind Blackberry.
And if he's putting that speed in, he has to be wondering, are all those dramas behind him? Can he finally have a clean sheet of stage times?
Carl Davies has support from Winger Subaru for the last 2 rounds and showing good pace again, just 0.6 behind Campbell.
Left, 7, right.
And Carl's growing confidence is really starting to translate into straight speed and straight results.
Right, don't cut into 4 left. This one's hidden, 4 right, don't cut into 4 left.
And Shannon Chambers up to 8th. So the results see Holder leading and looking good to claim his first New Zealand Rally title here, but look at that close battle for 5th.
It's hard to know what's going on behind you when you're sort of running one on the road, but it seems like there's a few issues, so we're just got to keep doing it, really. The pressure comes on a wee bit, I suppose. When you got to lead, you just got to do it for the rest of the rally.
And now you must be thinking about championship with Emma having problems. What is the plan for the afternoon?
I'm trying not to think about it. No, we're just going to try and drive like we've been doing. Otherwise, it sort of you get too caught up on it all. We might take a couple of spare tyres on this next loop just in case, because there's a few big rocks hanging around. But otherwise, crack on.
We ran out on second-hand tyres because we didn't have any brand new softs, so and I really thought softs was a call, but I think mediums would have been fine now looking at some of the other guys' times. We lost a little bit, but I'm pretty sure we still held on to our second place. Just goes to show you just can't run second-hand tyres in the NZRC. You got to be on the good stuff.
How's the compounds working out for you in the new MRFs?
Yeah, they've been good. We picked mediums for the first 2 stages and then just ran on softs for that first one. Going to go back to the mediums now and then back to softs for the single one.
And is the tight battle weighing on your mind?
Yeah, not really. I'm just here to finish the rally, and I'm not really sitting anywhere in the championship, but going to see if I can push over the afternoon and get somewhere good.
Grant, you must be pretty happy leading Category 5, but also leading a tight battle for 5th overall.
Yeah, quite surprised really. If we hadn't spun in stage 1, we'd probably have 4th quite comfortably. But yeah, we'll just keep plodding away as we are. We silly not to lose Category 5 placing, so we'll stick with that and see where we end up at the end of the day. There's been a bit of attrition out there, so as long as we can keep our old girl going here, we'll be sweet.
Clinky, you're here at the service park and the front of the car's looking lovely, but maybe not the back?
Yeah, no, we had a bit of an off on about 1.5 k's into the first stage, so I was just a bit overexcited about running up the front end of the order and just a bit fast going to a 5 left into a 4 right and didn't quite go around the 5 left. We ran a bit wide and hit a fence, and so we got stuck there.
And Davey tells me it's not his fault at all.
Oh, we'll watch the footage. I'm pretty sure it was actually my fault this time. It's normally him, but no, I was too fast going into the corner. But hey, it's motorsport, and yeah, if you don't go fast, you're not going to be winning, are you?
And while Clinky returned to the stages, Dave Strong was putting in a top 10 performance to lead 2-wheel drive. John Silcock was going to take top points in the historic class and was also in the 2-wheel drive battle a minute behind Strong. Anthony Jones had been battling with Strong but retired on stage 3. Dylan Thompson had been showing good pace in his Fiesta, but the rookie would retire on stage 3 as well with an electrical fault. Andy Martin was trying out a Suzuki Swift that he actually bought for his daughter. Despite hitting a bank on stage 2, he was happy with the day and enjoying his drive. And what a test drive too. Jeff Torkington in the MR2, mixing it with the slower 4-wheel drive cars. Stage 4, Wharekopai, starts on Rakaroa Road. This is historic WRC territory and maybe WRC territory in the future. Watch this space.
I'm really only familiar with sort of half of it, but from there I know it sort of winds up the hill and quite narrow, and then you get some quite interesting camber changes, sort of yumps and jumps and things you got to watch out for, but it's a very technical stage, and it's just another one in my head, and we'll just approach it that way and see what happens.
And his stage time was 26 minutes 59.2. Lance Williams next on the stage, and his chance to try and crack that top 3.
And Lance is another competitor that hasn't had the best season, but because of that he can take risks and push, and he can play around with different things like tyres, but it helps if you don't do that.
Dylan Turner now putting the pressure on David Holder. If Holder were to have a spin like that, then perhaps this rally could still have a change in result. Turner fastest on the stage. Despite Williams spinning, Featherston lost 3rd place here, finishing 2.3 seconds behind the Subaru. But a misfire in Phil Campbell's engine meant he would have to pull over twice in the stage and let the other cars go past, and that meant he slipped back to 9th.
And if you're wondering how Phil knew there was a car behind him, if you look in the left on the blue screen in front of the co-driver, it's telling him he has to pull over and let the other cars go through.
All this was helping Grant Blackberry to secure 5th place. And as we said, this stage has everything, including incredibly tight, narrow parts like this. So just getting to the finish unscathed can be a real challenge. But that's what Carl Davies was doing, and he would move up to 6th overall.
And we've talked about Rakaroa being a stage of 3 parts. Well, this is the twisty one.
Shannon Chambers hasn't had a lot of luck this year, so 7th at this point was a good result. Ben Hunt had rejoined after fixing his fuel pump. He desperately needs some stage mileage, but it wasn't going to happen today.
Right minus opens.
And the Sunstrike hits again.
Get out, mate.
Brian Green, next car through the stage. The veteran just enjoying being back on the stages here, which have such a rich history of both the WRC and New Zealand rallying. But it looks like this won't be the first time that Brian has actually come across a car blocking a stage.
And when you hit something in the car, you always want to get out quick to warn the next competitor. But when you're blocking a stage like Ben is, you need to.
Davey, another stage down.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a favourite one, that's for sure. We had a pretty average recce through there. Lost the camera, so we couldn't really look at it again. And we both just kind of lost their confidence in their notes, and it was pretty patchy.
But still, you're in the top spot, so looking forward to the next one?
Yeah, 2 more to go. Take them off. Should be good.
So Feathers struggled a little bit, nearly half a minute down on Dylan.
Yeah, I did struggle. I was pushing hard, but I don't know, it just wasn't seem to... I was just all over the road, so I don't know what's happening.
You took 6 seconds out of Feathers and you moved up a place.
Oh, that's good. We had a spin in there. We lost probably like 10 to 15 seconds, but a 3-point turn in the end. It was a real tight spot, which was really annoying, but had some good pace in there and good rhythm, so it was good.
WRC Rally New Zealand raced these roads in the 80s, and now the early Group A and Group B cars from that era are making a comeback in the NZRC.
Yeah, so this year we thought we'd try a class for the older four-wheel drive cars. We figured there were a few around in the garage, and with the classics being a little bit thin on the ground, we thought there was an opportunity to get the older cars out and relive the Group A days, because they were such cool days when the cars actually matched something you could buy on the road. So we've had a 5-car tune-out here in Gisborne, and it's a fantastic start to the season for these guys.
Yeah, it's pleasant to have the car here. You know, it's an eye-turner for most of the public. They get out to see these cars, and hey, we're not here to win any races, but we're just here to show Audi what it can do.
And there must be a lot of passion in the heritage of the car and the way you've made it look.
Yeah, well, when I originally built it, it was always going to be the aim to put it back to the Group B colours and the work team, and you know, people always recognise that, so it stands out a little bit easier for us.
2 stages to go, Pahiti 1 and 2. And with a lead of over 90 seconds, David Holder just had to hold his lead, take no risks. And it's obvious he was just sort of backing off early in the corners. But Dylan Turner was a man on a mission.
And David's got to be really careful here. Dylan is right behind him and hungry to take control with any mistakes.
And Lance Williams needs to keep pushing as well. Featherston is 2 seconds back, and 3rd place is far from decided.
And this is great. A close battle for 3rd between Lance and Feathers. And it just shows you how much these drivers value getting on the podium.
Williams 3rd quickest so far, 11 seconds slower than Turner. Featherston hadn't given up too, but lost 8.5 seconds to Williams here, so the gap now 10.8. It's been a great day for Grant Blackberry, 5th overall and easily the fastest in the Class 5 Gold Challenge. But Kingsley Jones is rewarded with consistency, and his 2nd place puts him into the challenge lead with a round left to run. Warwick Redford would finish the day 3rd in the class. But fourth place for Brindley Smith moves them up to second overall in the Gull Challenge points ahead of John O'Shapley, who retired here. And Daniel Alexander getting his second finish for the season. Ray Wilson had led the Group A Challenge all day and finished 13th overall to take the class win. Gareth McLaughlin was second up to the finish line of the final stage, but he crashed and was excluded. So Matt Adams took second in his VR4. And third went to the RD4 with Phil Collins. While Simon Bell was the final finisher in his Subaru. So with the stage to run, David Holder's lead was down to 1 minute and 4, while Featherstone could still claim third.
"20 kilometres to go."
Telling me, mate. It's not far, so we'll just try and get through it. We've got a minute to drop, so provided we don't get a puncture or anything major, then we should be okay.
We did this rally a couple of years ago and got a couple of stage records, so yeah, pretty happy with that stage. Car felt really, really good, and Rob and I just gelled on the notes. Just one of those stages. Yeah, it was good. I really, really enjoyed it.
So can you do it? Can you push?
I don't know. We'll see when I get there.
You're a hill climb specialist though, so you know the stage. You must be able to give it a nudge.
Geez, I can't remember it in one pass, butter. Yeah, I'll probably need 4 passes before I can remember it. You know, so no, I'm fine. I'll just try and find a nice rhythm and stick with that, and hopefully make it to the end.
You worried about Feathers being 10 seconds behind you?
Oh, there's always that worry in the back of your head. Something could go wrong. I had a spin earlier, it could happen again, but just keep pushing and hopefully I can stay here.
And I see you're bolting on a pair of lights as well. Maybe a concern about darkness?
Yeah, we had a problem last rally where we went into the last stage thinking we were going to be fine, but there was a hold up and ended up starting the stage in the dark and lost quite a bit of time. So it's getting late in the day today, so we thought we'd better do it just as a precaution, you know.
Are you doing everything you can to get there to the finish?
Yeah, definitely. I want to be on the podium.
The two-wheel drive class was a battle of attrition. Marcus van Klerk knew when he got out of stage 1 that he would be excluded for being over time, but he completed every stage anyway, putting on a show for the fans and not wasting a perfect day to be sideways on the stages.
And you've got to remember, every driver here loves driving. They love being out on these roads, so if you've got an opportunity to do it, why wouldn't you?
An amazing performance too from Dave Strong, leading two-wheel drive right from the start to the finish, finishing 10th overall. John Silcock, second two-wheel drive and collecting maximum points in the B&T Historic Challenge. Andy Martin giving his daughter Suzuki Swift a perfect run, although we're not too sure what she'll think of the panel damage, but great to see the Suzuki Swift Cup race cars finding a new home. Jeff Torkington now second in the Class 5B two-wheel drive to Greg Murphy, who didn't compete here, so a showdown due in Coromandel. So as the sun sets in the west, one final stage to go, and it's a repeat of stage 5. David Holder now, 20 kilometres away from his first New Zealand rally title.
And you've got to remember that David was comfortably placed at Rally Canterbury and he threw it all away. So he's got to stay sharp and he's got to stay focused. And remember, this is a car that Hayden Paddon has previously campaigned and won national titles in both rookie and junior class. So it's great to see his protege, David, adding to the pedigree of the car.
5 right minus, leads. 5 left minus.
Right, let's check out that battle behind too. Dylan Turner losing 30 seconds on the stage, so a late scare for him, but in the end securing second place. And take a look at his approach to this corner compared to David Holder.
And Dylan's chucking it into this corner and plucking on the handbrake to get it turned in, whereas David's a lot smoother and a lot more direct and getting a lot more drive out of the corner and already a second ahead of where Dylan is. And a second every corner makes the difference on the day.
Lance Williams, another to lose time compared to his first stage run. But in the end, Williams would finish third ahead of Featherstone, the final margin 8.6 seconds.
30, 7 right plus 150.
In 4th position for Feathers puts him in a really good position to challenge for 2nd place in the National Championship.
Carl Davies on track for another strong finish until this.
Oh, he's gone wide again. Oh, he'll be gutted.
And from the last stage blues to Sloane Cox, he fought his way back from outside the top 10 to finish 6th overall behind Grant Blackberry and claim the final stage win.
6 right 10, 6 left plus 20, 7 left and 7 right, and 7 left 50.
But all the glory was going to this man, David Holder, in the Stadium Finance Evo. With the rally yet to run, he had managed to stay ahead of the pack in 2016, and this result would see him crowned the New Zealand Gold Star Rally Champion.
Bridge, long 5 right, plus 150. Hell yeah, boy. Thank you, God. Mate, awesome. Oh, the boys are here. Done it, eh?
Thanks, bro.
David, do you realise that you're the next New Zealand Rally Champion?
I do, yeah. Feeling a wee bit emotional, actually.
Congratulations, mate. How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, pretty stoked. Obviously, I didn't think today would turn out like this. So, look, you know, there's a lot of things fell in our favour with people falling off, but at the same time, you know, you got to get the car to the finish, and I've got the team behind me that did it. So, pretty stoked. It's always a good feeling taking a car home straight, let alone winning it and getting a championship. So, no, it's going to be good for the whole team. I'm pretty stoked. And for all our sponsors that got us here, it's been a pretty tough year getting to each rally. So, Stadium Finance, Farmline Machinery, Vins, all the people that have put in, it's pretty awesome.
So confirming this result, Holder from Turner, Williams kept 3rd, Blackberry outstanding in 5th. Wrapping up the top 10 is Dave Strong taking out the honours in the 2-wheel drive class. An historic result too for John Silcock. Great to see the sponsor Brian Green in the top 16 doing what he does best in the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship.
Dylan, congratulations on winning 2nd.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a great day. It's been a long day, but yeah, really stoked to be 2nd place.
And from 3rd to Whangarei, 2nd here, you must be looking forward to Coromandel?
Bring on Coromandel, mate. Number 1's coming up. Last time I did this, I got a couple of years ago 3rd and a 2nd, and then I did win the next round. So you never know. I'll be trying. I like Coromandels.
Good rally, good start and good finish, and we just carried on throughout the whole rally and got to the podium, so it's good.
And obviously Feathers made you work for it at the end?
Yeah, definitely. We thought we were going quite fast at the last stage, but our time seemed to be a bit slower, but don't really know why, but we'll have to work on it next time.
We haven't had the best run in Category 5 this season, but we've got here to Gisborne and we've managed to win the class, so absolutely wrapped with it. We can go to Coromandel now and try and collect some more points. I don't know, mathematically we may have a chance of winning it, but we'll have to have a look at that. But absolutely wrapped with the day, 4th quickest overall through the final stage, so yeah, we've got a lot of positive things to take from this event, so very happy.
Well, it's been a long day and there's plenty to celebrate at Gisborne, but now the attention turns to Coromandel and the battle for the runner-up in the championship. And just look at those points too. Remember, 30 points up for grabs. So Coromandel will cap off the season in August.